right, here we go. Let's see. So the project I'm making today, again, it's a fun fold project. Let's see, I think I'm in a good spot here. You can see the beautiful designer series paper from the Meandering Meadows suite. This is a fun fold card, very simple to make. I'm going to walk you through, I'll give you the measurements, and I'll also send them out in an email. So if you're interested in the PDF that lists all the measurements, make sure you're on my email list and you can join. There is a link right above this video on my Facebook page that guides you into signing up for the email list. All right, so let's have a look at the beautiful paper. It is called Meandering Meadows. It's a package of 48 6x6 papers. I'm going to share with you the patterns. It's a beautiful watercolor, kind of Monet-esque style. This is the paper that I've chosen for today's card. And of course, it's got a great artsy front, and then the back is kind of like more muted, solid tones. There are 4 sheets, 4 6x6 sheets of each pattern, and so that gives us 12 patterns. This pack of paper coordinates with lots of Stampin' Up colors like that. That one's got 2 sides of the beautiful flowers. Let me share with you the other side. So beautiful blueberry bushel on the flip side. So this pack coordinates with balmy blue, basic black, blueberry bushel, cherry cobbler, crushed curry. Just beautiful, beautiful papers. Fresh freesia, garden green, granny apple green. Lots of flowers, lots of trees. Highland heather, lemon lime twist, melon mambo. Look at that. Pretty much any color you've got on hand, you'll find a print to coordinate with it. Night and navy, orchid oasis, beautiful green on the flip side, pecan pie, petal pink. I love these colors, the melon mambo, petal pink, and I'm going to share with you also the glimmer paper that coordinates with this suite that includes 3 colors. So you have lots of beautiful scenes to pick from. And again, the muted patterns, some of them have double sides of the meadows. So those are the 12 patterns and the flip side. And the glimmer paper that coordinates with it includes 2 sheets. These are 12 by 12. Let me see if I can grab these, this stack a little bit easier. So 2 sheets of 12 by 12 each color. One's Highland Heather. You can see all that shimmery effect. Petal Pink and Pretty Peacock. So you'll get 6 12 by 12s, 2 of each color. All right. Now, along with the DSP, these are the beautiful embellishments, and I'm going to be using them on my project today. They are called adhesive-backed dragonflies and birds. We are going to see 2 different styles of birds and the dragonfly. These are the brushed brass effect, and you get quite a few embellishments on here, 90 in fact, and I believe they're going to be $8. These right now are unavailable even to demonstrators, but they will be available later in the month. And of course, if you sign up by tomorrow, you can get the other pieces in this suite, just not the embellishments. Okay, so the card I'm using today, I'm going to use one of the sentiments from So Sincere. This is a beautiful greeting set. I have chosen to use the Hope You're Feeling Better Soon sentiment, but this card could easily be a sympathy. You're in my heart and prayers. So very proud of you. Look at this, lots of sentiments you could use. So thankful for you. Hope your day is a happy one. Your kindness is so appreciated. Be grateful for what you have. Be proud of who you are. Just love spending time with you. Knowing you brings joy to my heart. So lots of sentiments that you could use on this pretty card. And sometimes I like to just leave the card blank so that when I do need a card, I can just pop in the most appropriate sentiment. So I have chosen to stamp a greeting on the inside that says heartfelt love and caring thoughts are with you. And this inside greeting comes from Quiet Meadow, which I think coordinates really nicely. There's a sentiment there. What do you think? Do you like to stamp your greeting on the inside? I know I have stampers who absolutely need a greeting on the inside and some who just like to leave it blank inside. So this is great because you can be very versatile. You can use the card for whatever occasion or for whatever circumstance you need if you leave it blank. I know sometimes we are a little bit leery about seeing a blank insert. We feel like we have to fill the page with our own words. So I've taken the liberty of adding a stamp on the inside. You don't necessarily have to. Go ahead and go with what works best for you. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to put this over for a reference. And I will tell you again, the DSP that I'm showing you, the embellishments that I'm sharing with you, the ribbon are not available currently. They won't be available until Tuesday, but I want you to take a look at them now so that you can determine whether there's something you might be interested come Tuesday. All right, so my card base is going to start with crushed curry. I felt like the print that I chose picked up the crushed curry nicely. The crushed curry measures 5.5 by 7.25, and right away I am going to score this at 3 inches on the long side. So again, this is a fun fold. It's a simple fun fold, but gives you a nice little alternative to the standard card template. So I'm using my stamping trimmer. I've got my scoring blade, the light blade, up at the top, ready to go. I'm just going to bring my left edge up to 3 inches. So it's 5.5 by 7.25. Score the long side at 3 inches. I'm going to press down firmly, and that's ready to go. Put that aside. I do need a bone folder. I'm going to go ahead and fold this down, burnish it there, and I'm going to go ahead and add my insert, which is a piece of basic white. It has been cut to 4 inches by 5.25. All right, and I'm going to use my favorite adhesive, my favorite flat adhesive, which is Tombow liquid glue. And I like to kind of avoid the very edge. I don't want it to ooze out. That's one of the things you need to be careful of, that you don't get too close to the edge. Otherwise you wind up with a wet, sticky mess. And not a lot. And this is going to go right inside about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. What I love about that liquid glue, the green glue as some people call it, is that it's very forgiving. You can slide it around before it's stuck down permanently. And there we go. All right, there's my inside ready to go. Now, again, I chose to use that pretty print. They kind of look like daisies. Tell me what you think. Are those daisy flowers? Beautiful yellows and like a fresh freesia, could be a lily of some sort. Beautiful meadow, and you've got a little bit of sky up at the top. So I have cut one sheet down. I cut it down to 2 3/4. And so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that's what I've got here. 2 3/4 again. I'm going to slice that down, and then I'm going to trim off a little from the bottom because I do want a little bit of sky left at the top. So it needs to measure 5 1/4. I'm going to bring that top edge over to the 5 1/4 inch mark and go ahead and trim that down with the darker blade from the Stampin' Trimmer. and that's now ready to go. So you can get 2 cards from one sheet, one 6x6 sheet. This is going to be flat adhered onto the front flap. And again, some liquid glue. And this is one of the bottles that I'm kind of working on the last bits of glue. My tip for the liquid glue is to start off with the fine tip. That's always what I like to do. And what I mean by the fine tip, there are 2 sides to the bottle. The fine tip is that pen-like tip, and it comes out a little bit thinner. And I like to just put a little trail of the white glue along about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. I don't want to go right up to the edge because I don't want it to ooze out the side. And when you can no longer get glue from the fine tip, if you stand the bottle up for storage, and I'll show you what I mean. Let's see, the wider end, stand it up, let it sit in that position, and you'll be able to get glue out of the brush end tip, quite a bit of glue actually, so just to help your resources go a little bit further. All right, so I've got that card front going, so let's go ahead and build up our focal point. I've gone ahead and pre-die cut a couple of these Nested Essentials dies, and by the way, this is a must-have set. It's called Nested Essentials. You can see it's got 3 different shapes, and then you've got various graduated sizes of each of the shapes. So I've taken the rectangular shapes, and I've taken, let's see, the second to the largest and the 3rd. There we go. And I pre-cut one in crushed curry and one in basic white. And so the smaller one measures about 2 1/8 by 1 1/2. Just in case you don't have these dies, you can use just a rectangle as well. And the larger matted crushed curry measures about 2 5/8 by 2. So that's going to be the back side. I'm going to go ahead and stamp. And I have my Knighted Navy ink, right? And I'm using the Hope You're Feeling Better Soon, but remember, you could use one of the other greetings from the So Sincere stamp set. I have pre-mounted this acrylic block is block C, and I'm going to be using Knight of Navy ink. And let's see, I want a nice solid inking, so I've just got a piece of chipboard down to make a nice firm base, and I'm peeking over to the back, and I see I've got a little bit of ink around the edges, so I'm going to clear that off so that I don't ruin my paper. And I'm just going to get a little bit of tissue or any kind of paper. You could use a wipe and take off that ink that's around the edges so it doesn't show up on my label. And just as a caution, this stamp, I'm looking at the Hope You're and Soon words. Those are the capital words because the script font is a little bit of an angle. So I'm trying to make sure that I've got my words straight. There we go. And the script Feeling Better is at an angle, so I didn't want to use that as my guide. I want to keep it nice and straight on there. All right, so I've got that down. I'll set that aside to dry off for a little bit. And I'm going to bring in my crushed curry mat. Let's see. And I'm going to add some of the center stripe ribbon. This is coordinating ribbon from the suite, and it's a really pretty ribbon. It's got a little stripe down the center, nice neutral ribbon. It's about 3/8 inches wide, so it's really nice to work with. And I only need about 9 inches of it, if that. Just don't want it to be cut short. So I'm going to trim it down to 9 inches. And that's going to be wrapped around the crushed curry mat. And I'm going to tie a little bit of a ribbon using the Simply Elegant trim. This actually get 2 spools. I've got 2 sets in one package. You get a silver and you get a gold, and it's really nice cord, nice little elegant coloring. And I want about, again, 9 inches. I'm going to be tying a bow with that. And so here's how this is going to work out. There is a wrong and a wrong side on this ribbon. You want that little stitching to show through. And I'm just going to wrap it around to the left. I'm going to use a glue dot to hold it in position. So I'm going to use my take your pick tool, grab one glue dot, and put that right down around there just to hold it in position. And bring that in nice and tight. And now I think I've got it on the wrong side. Sorry about that. Let me go ahead and correct that. I put it down on the wrong side, and here's what I'll do. Use that glue dot still to hold it in position. That's better. And here's where a third hand would come in really handy. Since I don't have one, I am going to use my acrylic block. Hold that down. I'm going to bring in my elegant trim and just wrap that around the striped ribbon. I'm going to be tying it tight and in a bow, just like so. There we go. And I'll be trimming that once it's placed on the card front. All right, so these are then going to get matted. I'm going to use my mini dimensionals, and I'm going to put it on the 4 corners of the smaller label so that I avoid having the dimensional meet up with the ribbon. This way it's a little bit more secure. And as well, on the label, there is a wrong and a wrong side. It has that wonderful stitching around the edge. And so with the needle and a sewing machine, you know which side was the top side and which is the wrong side. So make sure you're stamping on the right side of your label. I'm going to center that right onto the crushed curry mat and put that aside. This then gets matted onto the card front here. Now, again, I'm going to use dimensionals, but I don't want to have any dimensionals to the far right. So here's the way I like to solve that, or avoid any kind of a problem with getting the dimensionals in the wrong spot. On the matted piece, I'm going to put the dimensionals to the far left. And on the card base itself, I'm going to place the dimensionals more or less on the edge of where I want it. So here's what I mean by that. Directly onto the card front. All right, so now it's ready to go. And I can go ahead and add my dimensionals. There we go. And I'm going to place it kind of high, but centered horizontally, but rather high vertically. So press that down. We're almost done. So I just need to go ahead and stamp the insert. And again, I'm going to use my Night of Navy ink. And I am going to use the sentiment from the Quiet Meadow stamp set. And I just want to be careful. I want it to fall behind where this label is. I don't want it to peek through. So it's more or less in the center. Just a little bit high so you have room to write a note and sign. There you go. Right there. Perfect. We're almost done. And let me grab my paper snips. Sorry, my ribbon snips, and the first thing I'm going to do is snip this center ribbon down just a little bit. And I'm just cutting it at diagonal. And then I'm going to trim that Simply Elegant ribbon down as well. The little ends are a little bit long. There we go. And we're not quite done yet. We're going to add our Papa's Pizzazz. We're going to take those super fun adhesive backed embellishments. I'm going to use a couple of the birds. So there's a bird in a downward flight position. I'm going to put that right up at the top, flying into the greeting. And then there's a bird that's flying right side, and this is going to go right by the soon. Hope you're feeling better soon. And there we go. There's our Get Well card to send a loved one. And I think you'll agree, this is a great fun fold alternative to the standard card base. In fact, it is one of the fun folds that we're using for the upcoming pop-up class that's in person. This fun fold can also be used for Christmas cards. So here's what I've done for the Joy to You Christmas cards that we're making this week in person. You can see I've done the same fold there. On this one, I added a little bit of DSP down the right side as well. So there's one of the cards from this week's class. Here's another fun fold that we're going to be using, or going to be creating. Super fun. This uses the Shining Christmas online exclusive paper. There's just a standard card. May your Christmas be merry and bright. And then we have one more belly band card. Peace and joy to you and yours. All of these cards feature that Shining Christmas paper and the Joy to You stamp set, along with that shiny ribbon and the embellishments. In this week's class, we're going to be making 8 of the cards. So, and you can do it either in person or you can opt to get the kit in the mail. So 8 cards. If you're interested in that, I'll post the link up above the video so you can get in on that. You have to respond by Wednesday if you want to be included in that class. So there we go. There is our Get Well card featuring the Meandering Meadow DSP, the adhesive backed embellishments, the centered ribbon that is part of the suite. And again, next Monday, I'm going to be showcasing another online exclusive that's going to be available on November 7th. Fluffy as Friends, super cute. And this one has coordinating dies with additional dies that don't just cut out the art from the stamp set. So you won't want to miss that. You'll want to have a look at these products so you're prepared on November 7th, just in case you'd like to order any of the product you want to order early. So I'm going to check the comments, make sure I don't have any questions. And I think it looks good. I hope you enjoyed this fun fold card. It's a very clean and simple card to construct, but I think any recipient would love getting it if they're feeling just a little bit down. So there we go. All right, so again, the Meandering Meadow DSP, crushed curry, and that centered striped ribbon for this project. All right, so that is our card project for today. If you have any questions or if you're watching the replay, please go ahead and let me know you popped by. As I said, I do appreciate you popping in. I know that your time's limited and I'm really flattered that you're here with me now. I will be including the PDF instructions on my next emailing. So if you want to get that PDF in writing, rather than having to write everything down on your own, make sure you join the email list. All right, friends, thanks so much for joining. I will see you soon. Good night.